Hello everyone, welcome back to this game. My name is Draygone the Willem Fuzzbottom Jr. and these are some of my patrons. Snow Kieran, Hidaru, and a special thanks to my special sponsor, Lit Dragon. When we last left off, we met the worst parent in the world. Also, we found out that Nicolay's castle is being blocked by some sort of evil barrier, and the only way to get rid of that barrier is to acquire some sort of magical artifact that may or may not be in this here tower. In fact, that magical artifact might not even work on the barrier. It might just be some random thing that people saw. Well, hopefully it'll help us break down that barrier. Incidentally, this is that same tower that we saw from across the water way back at the beginning of the game. How cool is that? Unfortunately, this is one of those dungeons. You know the kind. You're having fun playing the game, just enjoying yourself, and all of a sudden the game throws this dungeon at you that you just want to get over with. Examples include Pokemon's Mount Moon and its endless swarm of Zubats, Final Fantasy IV's Magnet Cave, where if you try equipping anything metal, the game paralyzes you, or Ocarina of Time's Water Temple, and that freaking key that forces you to redo half the dungeon if you forgot to grab it. I would put this dungeon at the Mount Moon level of unfortunate. It's big, it's like a maze, and it's got so many random encounters that it will just drain you if you don't know where you are going. The first time I played through this dungeon in my original Let's Play, I was quite exhausted by the end, and quite honestly, I was pretty glad that the boss at the end of this dungeon was a pushover. And I do not need this item. My health is full and I'm just going to have to drop it. It is unfortunate that you have to just drop items if you have no use for them. If this was a good RPG maker, it would allow you to put the item back. But anyway, back to this dungeon. It's exhausting, and I did not have that much fun playing through it my first time playing this game. Mind you, part of it was my fault. So, remember how I said that last time there was an optional quest that opened up? Well, instead of going to this dungeon, I decided to go on that optional quest first. And that optional quest includes an optional dungeon. And inside that optional dungeon, there is the hardest boss in the game. Okay, where are all those random encounters I was talking about? I'm supposed to be getting into random encounters so that I can use some items so that I don't waste items when I open these treasure chests. Hold on, let's get a random encounter. Oh, random encounter! Oh, we got Golskis here. I assume it's the juniors. And the Golski family line is expanded. We'll have to unexpand it. We'll just use ice. So anyway, the hardest boss in the game. And one would think that after fighting the hardest boss in the game, I would end the episode right there. But no. Instead of ending the episode right there, I decided to come to this dungeon in the same episode. So, probably not the smartest idea. Because I'm doing this episode on its own... No, I don't want that. because I'm doing this dungeon in its own episode, I should say, I'm probably going to have a much easier time with this dungeon. Although, just in case, I have written down a little guide so I know where I want to go in order to get through this dungeon as smoothly as possible. Incidentally, because I skipped that optional dungeon... Oh, hey, it's a diamond. It's that item that I got from the silver division of the arena. We'll be getting a few accessories here that we don't need. Anyway, because I skipped that optional dungeon and went here first in this playthrough, I'm actually coming here with one less level and one less super nice spell. You get a level and a spell from that optional dungeon. Part of the reason why I have skipped that optional dungeon for now is, even though this place was quite draining the first time I played, I kind of want to see if I can get more of a challenge from the optional boss that is here. No use for a medicine. Plus, going through this place before the optional dungeon will actually make the optional dungeon, and more importantly, the optional boss, a little bit easier. Because that boss... Oi. Alright, I'm going to want to use an item before I open this chest. I got plenty of these sirloins. I'm probably going to get another sirloin. Nope, it's a topaz. Pretty sure that's not a good piece of equipment anymore. It's like weaker than the diamond. Yeah, it is all sorts of weak from the diamond. I think it only boosted your agility. Anyway, that's basically the story with this place. It was a pain on my first playthrough because I went through 2 dungeons in a row and this was the second dungeon. And now I'm just going through this dungeon on its own. Should go smoothly. Especially since I have told myself where to go. By the way, in addition to giving myself notes on where to go in this dungeon, I also gave myself notes to follow to explain all that stuff that I just explained. And it's kind of difficult trying to go through this mass of notes while also trying to play a game. I've got Ronin story on one monitor and my notes all the way over there to the left, and it was difficult, but I think I did okay at reading off my notes. Speaking of reading off, let's read off this sign in the most offensive way possible. To proceed, you must defeat the one who is senior. Oh, it's going to be Golski. It's totally going to be Golski. Also, we're apparently repeating some more puzzles. That Slovenian tunnel, whatever it was, had a puzzle from the second dungeon, and now we're getting another puzzle from the second dungeon. Alright. We got Golski. That's obviously the correct answer. However, what are the other options, out of curiosity? Pyromancers. Those are the guys from that tunnel where we met Pelagia. Then Berserkers. I think those are guys like the thieves from the beginning area of the game. Or maybe from the recolors. In any case, it's definitely going to be Golski. Are you capable of anything of interest, by the way? Golski Jr. had that spell that allowed them to be immune to lightning. Not that lightning causes a whole lot of damage to them, and they're kind of immune to it. Do you even have a weakness? Yep, you totally have a weakness. It's fire. We'll say at the very least, these guys do hit harder than their sons. This guy is totally in his prime. Also, the family line just got a little bit more confusing. We had Goldsky and all of his Goldsky Juniors, but then we have another Goldsky. So there's more than one Goldsky Senior. That is not confusing at all. You received the Ryu Key 1. By the way, the fact that this place is called Ryu Tower, kind of indicative of what we're going to be fighting at the top of this tower. Also, they kind of told us at the end of the last episode what we were going to be fighting. We're going to be fighting some sort of dragon. Some sort of evil dragon who needs to be justly defeated. Alright, and up here on the 4th floor is where things get a little bit interesting. So let's see here. Let's take a look at this sign. There's nothing in that direction. We'll take a look at this sign after this random encounter. That sign is important. Surprisingly, we have so far not fought anything new. That's interesting considering this is basically like the penultimate dungeon, ignoring the optional dungeon. Danger! Motion-activated traps are ahead. Approach at your own risk. Yeah, not gonna go through there. It's like every one of those square tiles in there is spears. And while you could brute force your way through there using all of your sirloins, you don't want to do that. That'll just leave you in a totally weakened state for the boss, using up all your items like that. So we need to find some way to deal with those spikes. And the way of dealing with those spikes is this way. Got a little small passage here. Little small is redundant. Also a forced encounter with father and son. Interesting. Well, I know exactly how I'm going to be dealing with this. Get him weakened to start. There's that Earth Shield, so he's weakened to get. Oh! Yep, that guy definitely does a thing. Let's do a little bit of this. Uses up more of my HP, but it's a good thing Akira's fast. Try ice. Not weak against ice, but whatever works. Well, that was slightly nervous. Nerve-wracking, nerve-making something. I was nervous. Alright. Time to use an item. Use a spotted egg. No sense wasting a sirloin. We don't have 200 HP yet. We will eventually, but that's only achievable by going after every optional quest in the game. Or at least the ones that level you up. Akira has been infused with the power to disarm traps. Use this from the skills menu, but you must be near the traps to disarm them. Yeah, that's debatable. I'm gonna have to try. Wow, there was another random encounter right there. Even though we originally encountered those Goldsky Juniors inside the volcano, it's been a while since we met the first one, but they still kind of hit hard. Anyway, let's take a look at that new thing we got. Disable. Doesn't have a description, but it disarms traps. This is what we need in order to get through all those traps back on the 4th floor that we just came from. Okay, who designs a dungeon where in order to access a room on the 4th floor, you have to go up to the 5th floor and then come back down to the 4th floor? I'll tell you who designs a tower like that. Tsunami does. Anyway, we could head back to those traps and deal with them now, but there's some treasure if we go in this direction. Well, this is different. It's not new. It's just a mimic from the first dungeon. I know there's a mimic recolor somewhere around here. Why we're encountering a regular mimic when there's a new mimic somewhere? I don't know. Green tea. Let's just go ahead and use that right now. It's wasting inventory space. And we're gonna need it. So far, I gotta say that this dungeon is not going terribly bad this time. It was definitely a good idea to only do this dungeon in this episode, and not 2 dungeons. Alright, let's see here. That's a sapphire. I double checked my notes so that I would know what items to use when I have a full inventory, because I don't want to like use a sirloin and then find that I was going to get a bourbon instead. Having a limited inventory space is annoying. Alright, speaking of sirloins, there's a sirloin. I didn't bother using any items because these topaz and the sapphire, they're old, they're not very good. I mean, I could sell them. The money would be nice. But we're getting pretty close to the end of the game. So, don't really need that money that much. The only reason I would use money at this point is to buy more healing items. So goodbye topaz and goodbye sapphire. And this last treasure is something we'll throw away. It's a ruby. It is interesting and also kind of weird that this dungeon is throwing every accessory at you all at once. Especially when earlier in this dungeon, the game gives you a diamond. Once you have a diamond, all of these other accessories are worthless. They just do less than what the diamond does. Why are they here? Probably the same reason this old first dungeon mimic is here. Incidentally, and by the way, and also, I was reminded that I wanted to try something. And as soon as I get back to the staircase where I learned the trap ability, I'm gonna try something there. Alright, go upstairs real quick. And use the trap ability. How much MP does it cost? It costs 10 MP. You better hope you have MP. Alright. And we got that little icon there to the right that shows that traps are disabled. Now, when we learned this ability, it said we should use it only when we are near traps. That's not actually necessary, because it's like a status ability sort of thing. As long as that icon is there on the right, we are immune to traps. And that disabled trap status actually lasts for quite a while. And sure enough, it actually disabled all of the traps. Now, that part there is basically the only part where we have to worry about the traps. There's no more traps in the rest of the dungeon. But even if there were, this thing is going to last the rest of the dungeon, so wouldn't have to worry about them anyway. Alright, Ryu Key 1. Don't want to forget that. And there's nothing else in this room, so we'll just go straight to the exit. And same goes for this room. Don't look around for treasure, just go straight to the other end. While also dealing with the occasional random encounter. Oh boy, Golski Sr. is apparently a random encounter. I feel like I should have known that already. Why do I feel like I should have known that already? I don't know. Surprisingly, I have not gotten into that many random encounters as I try go through this dungeon. But that is probably because I knew where to go. Whereas in my original playthrough, I got kinda lost. But that is why I have written notes. So that I know exactly that is totally not the attack I wanted to use. Thank goodness it didn't miss. I meant to use that fire wave again. Wow. That was dangerous. Well, got a reason to use this medicine. Especially because that could definitely kill me just then. You take 2 points of damage, or some amount of damage, when poison takes effect. Now the question is, do I want to use a healing item? Or do I chance it and go for the heal point? I'm going to chance it and go for the heal point. That was a mistake. Well, it's a good thing a.k.a. is fast. Alright, let's do this properly. Don't use the wrong item. Use a sirloin. They are really nice. Alright, I can take a couple more of those. Now use Fire Wave like I intended. There we go. Now we'll actually get through this fight with more than 2 HP. Should have just used another spell. Well, at least he missed 2. I'm not sure how much better or how much worse this dungeon would be going had I not taken the notes. I imagine I would get kind of lost, and it would still be as frustrating as the first time I played. Maybe not as frustrating. There was a random encounter on top of the heal point. It was yet another Golski Sr. That is one confusing family. It's like, this is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. Alright. Here's the boss door. The boss is a stairway. Or the boss could be up the stairway. 7 floors. This is definitely one tall tower. The largest tower in the game, in fact. Alright, what is my item situation? Okay, I can hold both of the treasures in here. If my inventory was full, I would have saved these items for after I beat the boss. The dungeon doesn't kick you out after the boss. The dungeon will kick you out after acquiring that treasure chest that the boss is guarding. That treasure chest is the item we came for. And here we go with the boss. Judging by the music, this boss has a shield form and a regular form. I'm kind of curious what happens if I try using disable in battle. Alright, it just tells you you can't use it. Good news is there's no penalty. Is this boss capable of lightning? Just in case. Nope, it's totally a fire-breathing dragon. Too bad I'm not a fire-breathing dragon. But I do not come from a line of fire breathers. What is your weakness? Ice is your weakness. Well, knowing that, you're probably going to be a pushover. Even a lower level, and you're poisonous. But the poison missed. Even if this is an evil dragon, I still feel kind of bad killing it. Especially when it's in that weakened pose. That's totally the finish it sort of pose. Interestingly, the boss does not get recolored when we finish it off on the second form. Unlike the other shield bosses. Kinda weird that. Does it not have an alternate color? Here's a weird little detail. The bigger enemies have less recolor options than the smaller enemies. Pretty sure that's the case anyway. I feel like it is, because I feel like normal enemies, little enemies have 4 colors, and then the bigger enemies have 3, and then the biggest have 2. Or maybe the biggest have 1. And that is why this is not a recolor. I dare say he's even weaker against ice now. Oh, now he uses lightning. Oh, oh, oh! Ow! Ow! Ow? Did I mention ow? Definitely less of a pushover. Okay, note to self. It is the second form that you want to use that earth shield. Like, holy cow, that was powerful. And it's a good thing there's a save point right before the boss. No, don't load the game, load the file. Although, generally I'm not a fan of putting a save point right before the boss, because usually that means that there's not much of a penalty in losing. You lose the boss fight? That's okay, you're right there. Getting a game over feels more like a penalty if you have to, traverse a little bit more and deal with maybe another random encounter or 2 before you can get to the boss. The worst game overs come when the boss is preceded by a lengthy cutscene. Never put a lengthy cutscene in front of a boss fight. Especially not a cutscene that is 40 minutes long. I'm looking at you, Spiteful Dead. Or if you do have a lengthy cutscene in front of your boss, give the option to skip the cutscene. Alright, let's do this again, but better. Earth Shield to apply immunity to that lightning. Now, the question is, will the boss know that I'm immune to it? Or will it waste attacks with lightning? I'm surprised how much damage lightning caused, considering Fire Wave caused less than that. Nope, the boss is totally not aware that I'm immune to lightning now. I don't think that sort of AI is programmable. Alright, well, that makes this fight a little bit easier. I definitely got my challenge. Went into this fight and died. That totally did not happen the first time I played. I can't remember though if the boss actually used lightning the first time I played. He's definitely willing to use some lightning now. Wow, why did that miss? That's a magic spell, it's not supposed to miss. Oh, out of MP. Use a turn with a bourbon or slash it with my sword. Well, let's see what using my sword does. Decent damage. Actually, I kind of wonder if I should have just stuck with my sword during the first phase of this fight. That way I would have had the MP to get through this phase. Doesn't matter. So, once you know that you need Earth Shield, it's still not much of a challenge. But, at the very least, it was a little bit more challenging than the first time I played. Please give me a level. Thank you. Wouldn't have minded some money from that fight, too. There's one thing that annoys me, especially in certain Final Fantasy games. It's bosses that give you crap. Alright, let's see here. I already grabbed the treasures behind me. Pretty sure. I want to say I grabbed them on the way back here. Yeah, I did. So let's go ahead and grab this treasure and get out of here. You found the Ray Spear. This object radiates a holy light which can shatter demonic barriers. Hopefully, it is strong enough to break into Nicolay's estate. This must be the object Pelagia was referring to. It's certainly glowing. I just hope it will be able to get me inside Himalaysko. I feel like you just repeated the information that the game gave us. Maybe not word for word, but definitely in some similar fashion. Looks like at this point that trap ability has worn off. Alright, with that, we are done with this tower. I kind of wonder what the inside of this tower looks like. If I'm able to, I might have to come here, or try to come here, with the Frodes. Anyway, now what? I say head back to... Let's see, Slovenia is the country. What is the town where Pelagia lives? Can't really remember. Well, anyway, we're heading back to that town to heal up and end the episode. Let me see here, check my notes real quick. No, there's nothing new there's nothing new in Sofino. Conveniently enough, I wrote the name of the town on my notes. there is nothing new in Sofino right now. Aside from that optional quest, but I'm actually going to continue saving it for a little bit. So it's not happening next time. Instead, next time... Well, hold on. Before I tell you what we're going to be doing, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Down at the bottom of the screen is all of my patrons. Also, check out the description down below because I actually have a little section where Patreons can have a little sponsor segment. And there's like a list of sponsors where they post their websites where they go. Lit Dragon is not the only sponsor. He's the special sponsor, but he's not the only sponsor. Hiruru is also a sponsor, and you can see her links linked in the description below. If only it was daylight. There's something really cool that I kind of want to show you guys. Well, maybe you'll be able to see it. It's behind Sofino Passage. Actually, I might as well try to show it off. We need to find that one encounter that we haven't found here yet. So there's a reason we needed to go through Sofino Passage in order to get to Sofino. It's because of this. There is a giant ravine here. On the other side of the ravine is the entrance to Sofino Passage. This is actually kind of cool, I gotta say. Probably would look a little bit cooler if it was still daylight, but eh. Just wanted to do this now while I was thinking about it. Anyway, in regards to what we'll be doing next time... Ooh, is this the encounter I was looking for? No, it's just this guy again. Whatever. Next time we're going to be heading over to Nicolay's place. That's right, we're finally going after the main villain. I'll see ya then.